Man, we just did not research this movie before talking. We're like,
Nope,
what happened to this person? What happened to this one? I'm telling you, don't research these things.
Yeah.
So if we sound stupid, that's why.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Dell.
And this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic black media we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
All right, so another... So another sequel here, coming to America. The number 2.
With the 2 instead of 2. Yeah. So we definitely watched the first Coming to America on this channel. I don't know if it was one of the first ones that we watched, but we watched it a while ago. Mm-hmm. And I will leave it linked or in the cards if you want to see our take on that one. But as always, I am DB. The African monarch Akeem learns he has a long-lost son in the United States and must return to America to meet his unexpected heir and build a relationship with his son.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. All right.
That was it.
I guess as usual, we start off with things we liked about this one.
Yes.
Yeah, you want to kick this one off?
Yeah, let's see. I'm just gonna get out the way. The costumes and I really like the costumes of this movie in general. Yeah. I especially like that they kind of leaned more into the Zamunda aspect of it instead of the coming to the American aspect. Mm-hmm. They kind of did a different fish out of water instead of having Akeem be the fish out of water in America. His son was the fish out of water in Zamunda. So it was really nice seeing all the Zamundan costumes and how he and his mom started to like incorporate that, but then put their own little American ghetto fab twist on it, basically. And and see some of the traditions as well. That was really fun. That was really beautiful. It was really nice to see. I liked it.
Yeah, no, I definitely like how they kind of twisted this one to, like you said, be the other way around. We're not in America for most of the movie. We're still in Zamunda for the bulk of the movie. I also really liked the relationship between Lavelle was his name.
I'm pretty sure.
Lavelle and his mom. Leslie Jones' character, but
I love Leslie Jones.
Yeah, she was definitely like a bright spot, like one of my favorite characters in this one. But I like the relationship like her and her son had kind of coming into this.
They're
one, where
very
he's
sweet.
like, "Oh yeah, I'll go, but like my mom's coming with me, like." Like I'm not flying across the country without her, and then like he ends up bringing his uncle in here too. So I liked like that like kind of family dynamic they had there, and I also did like the family of Akeem, like his daughters and everything, and then like training to fight and everything. So there were some good families, and I like how they like came together kind of toward the end of the movie. But
I do have other points on that.
Nice blended family.
Yeah.
One of the scenes I really liked was the alive funeral when James Earl Jones's king was like, it's gonna be the most beautiful funeral, and I'm gonna be there. And I was like, what?
Yeah. No, I love that too. That was the first thing I wrote down
loved it
too. Yeah,
I loved it. It was so good. It reminded me of a Golden Girls episode where Sophia wants to have a funeral for herself, but like also be there. Only that one was a little different because Rose forgot to tell everyone that Sophia was still alive, so they were like actually mourning her.
Oh.
But like I loved all the parody songs that they had in reverence to him. They have Morgan Freeman narrating it. Like it was a good alive funeral, and then he did die in it, but like great alive funeral.
Yeah. I also really liked most of the musical numbers in this one. There were like quite a few of them. Too. Yeah, there were a lot of them, but they were all like really good.
This was basically a musical.
Yeah. No, like honestly, I was thinking like, was this a musical? Like I don't remember the first one having this much music, but like it was much appreciated. Honestly, like I thought it worked well in this film. Let's see what else I had. I loved Wesley Snipes' character, General Izzy. Everything about it I just enjoyed, like how he had like his people coming out like in like little dances and like doing like weird like stomping motions while he's talking, kind of thing. But I just love that character.
Another specific scene I really liked was when the king wished that Semi was dead.
Oh yeah,
because he was in his bed and he was like, "I'm dying. Why couldn't it have been you, Semi?"
Yeah.
That made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, and then Akeem chokes him, and he's like, "Yeah, just do it, finish him off." yeah. I think the last scene I had, I like the like princess fight scene at the end with Simi and the princesses versus General Izzy and his kind of like little army. I thought that was a fun fight scene.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I have two other things. The McDowell's joke remains funny. It was so funny.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's not McDonald's, so there's no copyright infringement.
Yeah.
They think we are McDonald's. They have Egg McMuffin. We have Egg McStuffin. Like,
yeah, he was like, the McFlurry is nothing like the McFlurry. We put the toppings on the bottom.
McDowell's will remain like the funniest joke in this one.
Yeah.
And then I also liked the scene where the queen was drunk. I thought that was when we got a nice little snippet of her being back to the Lisa that I remember from the first Coming to America.
Yeah.
Well, that was it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I think that was it for me too. All right, ready to get into negatives?
Yes.
I guess I'll kick this one off. For me, the main thing I had, it felt like a lot of the like character drama got resolved off screen, or like just like
it did.
Yeah, it just wasn't shown. So like the few examples I had were I thought the son and daughter, Lavelle and the oldest daughter, I thought like
is it Mika or Mira?
Mika, yeah, I think it was Mika.
Mika, there we go, it's Mika. Ooh.
Yeah, but like they clashed when they first met. Makes sense. There was that dinner scene where like she like stormed off kind of thing, made sense. But then I feel like they had no conversation until that lion scene where they like supposedly made up, I guess.
Yeah.
And so like it just seemed like there was nothing in between there. Also I felt the same way about Lavelle and the Mirembe, the one like bather he ends up like marrying. Like it seemed like a lot
the groomy girl.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of their like character stuff happened. Like I remember the one conversation when she like cuts the rat tail off, but aside from that,
and then they have a walk in the courtyard.
Okay.
Where I guess she talks about how in Zamunda a woman can't have a position of power.
Yeah, and that's where they kiss, right?
That. I think so.
Okay, yeah,
and that's when he realizes he's in love with her. I guess.
Yeah.
Very much like his father.
Yeah.
With the one conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Get ready to risk it all.
Definitely.
And it has to be a marriage and not just like a dating.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I was like, all right, if we're not like no longer doing this marriage to like, I don't know, seal the throne or like do some alliance thing, like you guys don't have to get married, right? You could just like date for a little bit. I don't know. Like I don't know how it works, but
especially since he's American, so he wouldn't. So I don't think at least he would immediately default to marriage.
Yeah.
Like as soon. But that's just me. But okay.
Yeah, but the other two I had. With Queen Lisa and Mary, they kind of had that like bonding scene where she like gave her the necklace. That kind of came out of nowhere to me. Like I didn't really see a need.
They had the scene where they got a little drunk together. But
I thought that happened after the necklace, though. Right? That wasn't after the necklace.
I thought that was before.
Okay, maybe I don't know. I thought it was after the necklace, but
It could have been, but I just know that they didn't have a lot to like build up to the whole.
Yeah.
Now we're family for real, so of course I'm giving you this necklace. Why would you think? Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, and then it was the same thing for Uncle Reem and Simi. They kind of had like another bonding moment toward the end too. That I just didn't see the path to it, but.
Yeah. This kind of piggybacks off of yours. Where I just think that the women in this movie were sidelined a little too much when they kind of were almost plot devices. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, I feel as though the main plot of this movie should have been that whilst, what's his name? The kid? The prince?
Lavelle. Yeah.
While Lavelle is trying to do all the princely duties, it should have been also Mika on the side also doing all the princely duties, showing that she should have had this job on lock.
Yeah.
It should have been more of that in terms of, like, now he's really seeing her, like, while he's doing his own twisty thing, like, while Lavelle is kind of, like, putting his own spin on Zamunda tradition, she's still, like, up in there. She could get the lion's whisker herself, and she's doing all the princely things side by side almost. Because most of the time with her, she's kind of like off to the side being stoic and pissed. And like rightfully so, you love this country. You're technically the heir. You technically should be the heir to the throne because we don't know this guy. And then your father is like, we don't have an heir. Like, what are we going to do? Meanwhile, like, your daughter's right there. Like, that should have been the plot of it. Him kind of, like, seeing that his daughter should have been the queen or, like, the rightful heir instead of that. Like, they didn't do that. Lisa, of course, took a sideline when it seemed as though she had much more spark and agency and just, like, a little something in the first movie, especially because the reason that Akeem married her is because she wasn't the same subservient wife that we got in the past movie where it's like, what's your favorite color? What's my favorite color is your favorite color. What's this? My favorite. This is your, like, she wasn't like that. So it was kind of sad to see her not, like, talk in this movie that much, except to, like, be pissed at Akeem when he, like, lied about having a son that he didn't know about, because the driving plot of this was a date rape, which is not good in and of itself. So, yeah, I just feel as though they could have utilized the women a little bit more in this movie, especially since their stories were so much more, like, bringing Zamunda into the 21st, 22nd, or whatever century. So it could be like the new Wakanda, basically.
Yeah, like, I definitely agree.
Why weren't we doing that?
And I feel like this movie kind of did, like, a really big pump fake with the women in this, too. Like, you see, like, in the beginning, like, you see all his daughters, and they're, like, fighting. You clearly see that they're training, and like you said, like, once he gets the boy, they kind of drop off the face. Like, they could have even done, like, the same thing they did for that lion scene. Like, they could have had her, like, doing some type of, like, training of him, or, like, her taking on that mentorship role, and then that's where you see, like, that tension start to rise. Like, but they really did kind of just drop all the women in this off and just kind of focus on
all the daughters.
Him.
Everyone fell off.
Yeah, like, honestly, even for that fighting scene, they, like, added Simi in there. Like, I was like, all right, I guess he didn't really need to be in this, but okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, I think what I felt about this movie is I felt like they set it up. Like, they set up all these, like, interesting, like, dynamics and stuff, but then they just spent a lot of time, like, fooling around and telling jokes. And that's why, like, like I said, like, a lot of these, like, character resolutions and, like, character coming together moments didn't feel as satisfying. Because it just felt like, okay, I was just, had been, like, watching jokes and, like, laughing, haha, having a good time. But, like, none of these, like, characters really said anything or, like, did anything with each other. Like, I feel like I just, like, they didn't give me a lot to, like, work with, or a lot to see, at least.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. Yeah. Also, maybe this is just me. I was kind of confused as why they were so worried about Akeem having an heir, considering he was next in line for the throne.
Yeah.
Like, why was his dad so worried about Akeem having an heir, considering Akeem's still alive, and once you die, James Earl Jones, Akeem gets the throne? Like, why were you so worried about him not having a son?
He doesn't even have the throne yet, you know? Like, he's like, some time to find an heir. Like, it doesn't have to be today.
Yeah, I'm like, you could find an heir. You could change the Zamunda law so that your daughter, like, it was just weird to me. I was like, why are we so worried about this? Next in line is your son. Like, have him worry about the heir later. Like, you don't need to worry about that right now. You're about to die. Like, calm down on that front. But, and him being assassinated, that was, I don't know what that was.
Oh,
so it was a little convoluted how we got
assassinated.
There. Yeah. And he never, like, they were so worried about what was going to happen next that he didn't, like, prove he was not a weak king in this movie. It was him, like, proving he wasn't a weak king by having a son. But that doesn't make sense to me as a principle. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm a girl, I don't care about the son thing.
I feel like king culture is just strange, too. Like, it's very, like, oh, he's the firstborn. Like, how they called him, like, a bastard born for half the movie, for the first half of the movie. Like, yeah. I've been reading Game of Thrones recently. So.
I think, I don't know if... I will say in general, I didn't find this as nearly as funny as I found the original. Like, the original had some pretty iconic moments, but this one, not really.
Yeah.
They tried to do it, but again, that was part of the part where they were dicking around and could have been, like, advancing the plot, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that's when they could have made more iconic moments within the plot instead of trying to, like, go out and capture. I don't know what they were trying to do.
Yeah, because there were a few callbacks to the original, which, like, of course they're going to be there, but yeah. And also, I think they got, like, I'm not complaining per se, but they got, like, very, like, cameo happy, I think. You know?
They did.
Like...
They got very cameo happy in this movie.
Yeah.
Which, Yeah, that's what. Okay, I'm gonna say this feels truly like a sequel movie. Like when you get a fully fan service movie, that's what this was.
Yeah, I mean, 30
because
years later,
instead of doing,
definitely.
yeah, 30 years later, people are really just coming here for a check. So the plot's not supposed to be the strongest, I guess. Especially because, like you said, they set up all these dynamic character relationships that were different and interesting, and then we like abandoned that. We were like, let's forget about all that cool stuff and go back to the like barbershop and do that thing again and yada yada yada. And it's like, but the cool things are over here. Like, and then they of course did that meta joke about sequels, and I hate when movies do that when they're a sequel. I'm like, you're a sequel. You can't be throwing stones. You're in a glass house. You better stop that. Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
It looked like there were a few fourth wall breaks in this one. It looked
there
like
are a couple.
Yeah.
Okay. Alas, I guess some of the retreads were a little annoying to me, like the subservient wife played by Tiana Taylor. Mm-hmm. That joke was not my favorite in the first one, and it definitely didn't need to be brought back up this time. Like, I didn't like that. Yeah. And I'm gonna give it this. I already said it, but I'm gonna give it its whole due. But having a date rape be the driving plot of this movie, did not like that. Yeah. Where the reason that he has an illegitimate son was because he was basically drugged and he was date raped basically. Yeah. Not a good start. Not a good color for the first 20 minutes of the movie. Yeah. No.
It was definitely like kind of uncomfortable to watch. Or like they played it off as a joke, but it was like I don't know.
That's
really
not
a joke.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because he didn't know it happened for 30 years. That's not great at all. Yeah. But everyone around him knew. Ew, I don't like that even a little bit. No.
It was gross.
No. That's all I have for this movie.
Okay. So you ready to get into ratings?
Yeah.
You ready to kick it off?
Sure. I gave this 2.5 out of 5. While I didn't find it nearly as enjoyable as the first movie, I did like the beautiful setting and the costumes and how much fun it looked like everyone was having. That's always fun to me when people look like they're having fun. But the premise was pretty half-baked, and I saw the seeds of a better, more progressive, female-forward movie, but it was like they were kind of afraid to do that better movie that they set up. And I did not like that. So it was very middling to me. It's like,
Yeah. I also gave it 2.5 stars. I had some like good laughs. There was some like characters I really liked in this one, but again, like it just like felt like they're kind of just screwing around for most of the movie, which was like of course fun to watch, but like in terms of like coming together as like a movie that like I'm feeling something for, and like I'm like following along with these character relationships and like seeing the changes in them. I did not get a lot of that from this one, so it was mostly just fun sights and like a few good laughs here and there. But I feel like even the laughs weren't like even the movie, and we're just like, oh, an actor I like, and like I know that they're always good for a funny line, you know. So I agree, kind of middle of the road a bit, but it was definitely a fun watch though.
I guess final question.
I guess we could ask kind of both for this one. Do you wish you saw it sooner, or do you wish it was made sooner?
Do I wish I saw it sooner? Again, this was a movie we were supposed to see like a year ago or so when it first came out, so probably yes in terms of like algorithm stuff, yeah. Do I wish it was made sooner? In terms of being a sequel of Coming to America, also yes. If only because I think if it was made sooner, it would have been cared about more. As in like, I don't know. There's just something about like taking 30 years to do a sequel that's like, you're kind of just like doing things at this point. Like you're trying. It's almost like the studios are like fishing around for what property they think is going to be the most lucrative to make a sequel from. Whereas I think if they'd done it earlier, it would have been like, oh, we have a really great story we want to tell, and we're like really trying a little harder. I don't know if that's as necessarily true, but I feel as though if it were made earlier, there would have been a bit more care put into the script. I don't know why I think that, but I really do think that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. In terms of me watching it earlier, I 100% agree. Like, yeah, we should have watched it when it first came out. This would have been better for things. It was 30 years later, so it's not as crucial as it is for like a true sequel that comes out like, you know, like right after. But if we could have knocked it out a year or so earlier, just when it came out, that would have been nice. And then in terms of this being made sooner, I do definitely get what you mean. Like, this does honestly feel like one of those, like, them, like, just digging in the bottom of the bag, like, okay, what haven't we made a sequel of yet? Like, what can we, like, squeeze a few more dollars out of? Like, oh, come on, this movie was hot in the 80s, you know? Like, let's bring this back. So, yeah, I think for what it was good for a movie made 30 years later. I think it was okay, but I do 100% agree. If they, like, made this earlier, like, it feels like a true sequel where they, like, continue with the characters in, like, a reasonable time frame. It could have, like, been a lot better, or just, like, definitely been a lot better. They could have done a lot more interesting things with the plot. They wouldn't have had to, like, rely on this, like, kind of obscure storyline of, like, him having this, like baby like 30 years ago that he didn't know about, kind of thing. So that was Coming to America 2. Coming number 2
to America.
Yeah. Not to be confused with Coming to America, the regular 2, just the TO version. But
not also TOO. That's not a movie.
Yeah, that hasn't been made yet, you know. Maybe this will be like a Fast and Furious situation, where, like, coming through America, you know, like driving through America or something. I don't know. But hopefully not. But
we don't need another sequel of this movie. It's okay. We can stop
we're
now.
Good. We're okay. YouTube housekeeping. Like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell for notifications. If you have any movie suggestions for us, you can leave them in the comments down below. We do movies on Tuesdays and Fridays. All of our socials will be linked in the description box down below, and we'll see you next time to catch up. Bye!
Oh, wait. Apparently there was a spin-off planned in a year after. A spin-off television show was planned. But never picked up.
I'm not sure that
I don't think that would have worked. I see why it wasn't picked up. Like, I haven't seen the pilot, but I don't know. Yeah.
I don't believe in this as a TV show. Like, there have been movies that we've watched. Like, what did we just watch with the vampires? That one lended itself to being a Monster of the Week type movie that would have definitely worked.
Yeah. What was that?
There's a couple of things... Day Shift. There's a couple of things we've watched that definitely lend itself to being a TV show. Coming to America does not.
Yeah. It seems to be Akeem's brother. I didn't know he had a brother, but going to college in New York. That seems to be the plot.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good.
Yeah. Seems a little
that
forced.
Feels like, especially back in the 90s, people stopped seasons all the time.
Yeah.
Where, like, you would have a full show, but then they were like, yeah, no one's watching this. You may have recorded these last 5 episodes, but we're not showing them.
Nope, not getting our airtime.
Like, no, you guys are done with this.
Hard cut, yeah.